Everyone wants to be number one, especially in the space of entrepreneurship, self-improvement. And it's fine. You gotta have irrational self-belief, irrational self-confidence to succeed because shit's hard. If you don't believe in yourself, no one's gonna believe in yourself. But I have found that there is some nuance to this because essentially, I do believe you need to have an ego. You need to have a big ego in order for you to work towards validating the ego to yourself or to others, essentially proving your ego. And in this whole race to number one, I have realized, at least in my personal experience, that the key to this is not only having an ego, but actually learning how to manage it. For example, there's times where it is appropriate to have incredible self-belief and believe and assume that you are the number one and shoot for number one. But there are times where you have to be able to recognize when you have to maybe take a step back and take the number two position or maybe even the number three position. And this is very key, at least in terms of identifying which situations it's up to you to take a step back and assume a secondary or tertiary role. That, in my experience, has been key, just recognizing those experiences. Some examples. When I'm in my team meetings and I'm with my employees, I'm managing them, it's a given that I'm leading the discussion. I'm the number one. No one has to say it, but it's a given. Now, when I'm having conversations with my mentor, I'm the number two because I defer to him, or at least I listen to him and as far as taking advice on how I can do things differently, do things better. That's the whole point of the mentorship. But this is something that, when you're young, it's always, I would say, if you're like a high performer or if you're someone who's driven, ambitious, you're naturally inclined to always think that you know all the answers and that your way is the best way. It's happened to me too. I used to be like that, and to a certain degree I still am, but I have gotten better in recognizing when I need to actually take a step back and listen instead of talking so much and maybe trying to take the lead, and just recognizing that I can learn something from someone else. And this doesn't apply just to business or work settings. My brother is 13 years younger than me, but he's really, really skilled at playing soccer, football. He's a great athlete. If we're playing on a team together, despite me being older than him, he's like the guy. He's in charge. I know he has the skills that are better than mine, so he would be the number one in that situation. But if we are, let's say, we're out together and we're having interactions, particularly maybe between adults, then I am the number one because I'm older, more experienced, etc., more competent, whatever. But it's all contextual. It all depends on the situation. And as I've learned to just recognize this more and more, I found myself with more opportunities to learn more, because oftentimes when, at least in my case, when I was so headstrong that I thought that my way was the only way, I missed out on a lot of teachings, a lot of learnings along the way because I was not open to the possibility of being wrong. And if that possibility doesn't exist, then there is no room for growth, no room for learning. So I believe that is definitely a key skill as far as personal development goes. I do believe you have to have an ego. I truly believe that you cannot be successful if you are not working to prove it to yourself or for whatever reason. I believe there's no wrong reason as to why you are driven to be successful. But learning when to tap into the drive and learning when to take a step back and take input, take feedback, and recognize that just social, it could also even be considered social awareness, emotional intelligence, just recognizing, okay, this is not the situation for me to try and overstep any boundaries. So that's been key for me, at least it's helped me a lot. It's also been really well received as far as when I'm networking or trying to build relationships with more established professionals of interest. These people, those that are actually very successful, they pick up on that. They pick up on people who are self-aware enough to read the room, let's say, and recognize their role or their position in whatever the situation may be. So that's my little bit of advice for the future. Anyways, that's my video for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, leave a comment, share your thoughts down below. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.